This is your daily reminder. God has not run out of mercy, not for you, not today. Welcome to the New Mercies Podcast. Welcome. Today is Friday, August the 14th, and we are in our reading plan today in Psalm 78. Psalm 78. Now, I know if you are a long-time listener to the podcast, you know that I love Psalm 78. I've built an entire church vision around Psalm 78. It is one of my favorite places. It is in our reading plan, though, because of where we are in Hosea. Now, before we jump into this, I'm going to try my best to give a very simple outline today. Not going to jump into all of it. This is a historical psalm, meaning it's one of the historical psalms, meaning it refers back to things that have happened in the past. It is also an instructional psalm. It is, of the historical psalms, it's the longest one. So there's a lot of verses in here. There's 72 verses in Psalm 78. I have spent the majority of my ministry as a student pastor, next-gen pastor, caring for students and little ones, and it is partly because of Psalm 78. It says, tell the coming generation about the wondrous works of the Lord. Tell the next generation, the next generation. It is all about producing the next generation to be followers of Christ. So they set their hope in the Lord, not in the things of the world. Now, I want to give you a little background into this psalm. It says on the heading of this psalm, it's a psalm of Asaph. Now that could be the Asaph in David's time, so it could be written in David's time. It also could refer to of Asaph's line, okay, of the worship line of that a person that is within that lineage. And so the reason I put this one in this time is because there's a chance this could have been written right after the fall of the Northern Kingdom. There is a phrase in this psalm that is specifically the Holy One of Israel. That phrase was made more, I will say, popular by the time of Isaiah's time, which is following the fall of the Northern Kingdom. Now, I'm not telling you this psalm was written right after Hosea declared his final thing, right? That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is, it's possible that this psalm may have been after the fall of the Northern Kingdom. There's another possibility that it could have been before. It could have been predated. It could have been before even Solomon took the kingdom, before the kingdoms split into two. So it could be any of those times. What's important is it is not. It's not about the historical setting, it's about historical memory, all right? That's an important difference. It's not about the historical setting, it's about the historical memory. That's what this is purposeful and the reason of it. So we don't know exactly who wrote it. Again, it says Asaph. Is that him specifically, or is that one of his lineage? Because that did happen throughout the Old Testament, so we don't know for sure. Here's what I will say. The past is a great interpreter for the present, and it is a great safeguard for the future. It will keep us safe in the future if we know the past really well. So here's what I want to just go straight through today. Going to be a little bit shorter episode today. I just want to break it up for you. I'm not going to explain each of these sections. You can do that very simply. It's one of the Psalms, and if you really want to know, you can go back and look. I'm sure we've done Psalm 78. I know I've done it a bunch on the audio versions of the podcast. I think it may have been even on the YouTube as well, so you can go and check that out. But today, I've titled this one, Remember and Tell. Remember and Tell. Remember and Tell. That's what this psalm is meant for. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to break it up into 6 different places. 6 places. I'm just going to tell you the chunk of Scripture, and then I'm going to tell you what I've kind of titled it. As I read through this once again, I love Psalm 78. Read through it hundreds of times. It is one of my favorites because it gives us a really great principle to live by. Remember what God's done and tell people about it. That's simple. So here it is. Verses 1 through 8, I titled Tell. That's all. Just tell. Just tell. Tell the next generation. Verses 1 through 8. Tell the next generation. Here's the deal. Here's your challenge today. Tell somebody younger than you what God has done in your life. There it is. How hard is that? It's so simple. I'm breaking this down real easy today so that we understand and we just go and do it. Just be faithful. Tell the next generation something that God's done. Verses 9 through 16, I titled it, Remember. Remember what God's done. Here's the deal. We can tell people what God's done all of our life, but it over and over and over again. But until we start remembering what God's done, I'll tell you this. I took a little mind travel through what God's done in my life over the last decade. And I'm telling you, I just got so overwhelmed with blessing on blessing on blessing. He's been so good to me. Whenever I remember the things that he's done, It brings a joy to my heart. It allows me to start my day with a little bit more passion and purpose and joy. So verses 1 through 8, tell. Verses 9 through 16, remember. So remember what God's done. Maybe today, just journal some things that God's done in your life. Verses 17 through 39, I titled those verses, beware. Beware. Remember how easily the heart rebels. Beware. Beware that you are sort of a garbage human, as am I. Our heart will lean towards rebellion if we do not put some guardrails up. Beware, your heart is, listen, a day you can start slipping on a slope, and one bad decision leads to another, to another, to another. It is easy for the heart to rebel. Verses 40 through 55, I titled, remember again. Remember again. God redeemed you. I want you to think about it. Maybe you're saying, well, Anthony, it's been such a hard season. It's so difficult for me today. It's so difficult for me in this time. It's just so hard. God saved you. If you are a child of God, you have been redeemed by the blood of the Lamb. You didn't deserve it. You didn't earn it. He did it all. He reached in, grabbed a hold of you, headed to hell, and he brought you into his family. That's what God did. Remember that. Just remember that. Be thankful for that. Remember again. Then verses 56 through 66, I wrote down, be warned, be warned. Idolatry and forgetfulness bring devastating consequences. Wrote that one down. Verses 56 through 66, be warned again, be warned. Idolatry and forgetfulness will lead to devastating consequences. Idolatry and forgetfulness. Whenever you are worshiping an idol, you'll forget God, and that is not going to turn out well for you. That's going to be bad and ugly. So be warned. You've been warned today. Be warned. Verses 67 through 72, I titled it Trust. Trust. God, He remains faithful and provides a shepherd. That's what God does. He's going to remain faithful. You know what you can trust? God. You know who you can trust? The Lord. You know who you can trust? God. For everything you possibly ever need, you can trust the Lord. He remains faithful. Even when we aren't, He remains faithful. He is provided for us a shepherd. We are sheep. He is a shepherd. He's prepared that for us. We can't get there on our own. We can't do anything on our own. We need a shepherd. We have a shepherd. So running through that one more time, verses 1 through 8, tell. Today, tell somebody about what God's done. Verses 9 through 16, remember what God's done. He's done a lot in your life. Don't say that he hasn't. Verses 17 through 39, beware. Your heart will drift, and if it does, it will drift toward rebellion. Verses 40 through 55, verses 17 through 39, beware, the heart rebels. Verses 40 through 55, remember again, God redeemed you. You didn't get there on your own. He did it all. Verses 56 through 66, be warned again, idolatry and forgetfulness will only lead to bad places. Verses 67 through 72, trust. God remains faithful. In all of it, God remains faithful. I read chapter 78 of the book of Psalms today, and it enlightened my heart. It challenged me to go and tell somebody what God's done, remember what he's done in my life, to be warned that I can drift very easily, and then I got to remember again, right? As soon as I start thinking about how my heart drifts, I need to go back and remember he's the one that saved me. I am his now. I'm owned by him, and I get to display his glory in this world. Psalm 78 today, one of my favorites. I encourage you, read it a couple times, and just follow through whatever it is telling you to do today so that we get to see the great glory of God explained and described through your life.